all because of
Snowflakes,
this app.
please turn away. Please turn away from this cast now. All snowflakes. Agam has driven off the PC fucking cliff, and now he's doing
No, it's
something
just
completely
I'm
different.
not saying how I've it's not my opinion. I'm just saying what might work. Let's talk about the two most important things in life: dating, relationships, and ChatGPT.
And this is exactly why you and I are nothing alike, my friend. My priorities are completely different. But please do go ahead and tell me why ChatGPT and dating are the most important things in life.
I don't need to explain why, but let's talk about it. So I was going on a date with someone, and the conversation was it doesn't happen that much.
Uh-huh.
And the conversation was kind of dwindling down, and I also was pretty lazy and tired. So I decided to see what ChatGPT can do for me. And this is what happened. So I wrote into ChatGPT, find a cute, funny response to. Then I said, me, yeah, the bread was the highlight of the evening. Her, I knew that you liked the bread more than me. Tear emoji. And then I said, me, colon, and I asked ChatGPT to autocomplete that. And surprise, surprise, it gave me something to cling on and to work with, because I was not feeling it to do it myself. And it wrote, you're the butter to my bread. Without you, it's just a slice of bland, which isn't the best response, but it gave me somewhere to start.
I have so many things to say about this. First and foremost, what the actual fuck? One. Two, seriously though, great idea for using ChatGPT. Coming back to my previous comment, 3, what the actual fuck?
Yeah, I have more prompts if you'll wait. But basically,
no.
it sprouted an idea, and it was, let's use ChatGPT to fix 3 of the biggest problems in dating. The first one is your bio. If you have a bio that sucks, you suck in the dating game, unless you look like a Greek god, and that's part of the bio, but okay. And you taught me that. Second is the first line you start with, right? How do you start an interesting, engaging conversation with someone and not just, hey, what's up? And the third one is, when the conversation is kind of dwindling down, how do you rescue it? Those are the 3 things I was thinking about. And I was thinking, it has a high intent and you can sell it to people in some way. Let's figure it out. And this is what I want to talk about on this episode.
Amazingly enough, when we talked about this, the title for this in our Notion page was ChatGPT Dating Coach. So what I was thinking about was something more like Replica AI. For those of you who are not familiar, it's like a conversational chatbot thing. It allows you to speak with it with an avatar, yada yada, and it learns you over time. So it's something like that, but for dating. So like a training date, like date on training wheels.
Let me share my screen and tell me if that's what you're talking about.
Sure.
Replica.com,
AI.
this thing?
REPLIKA.ai, I think. So yeah, exactly that thing. Which again, essentially is a conversational chatbot with an avatar face type thingy that you can then go ahead and, talk to. Now, I actually like your idea better, because instead of kind of training on dry land, quote unquote, which is what you would do with something like what I'm thinking about, what you're saying is something that actually brings value to your actual profile and can get you more dates. As a side note, let's talk about ethics for a tiny bit. Just kind of keep in mind that you're 2 people trying to date in a very disconnected world. So while we're doing things to optimize your profile, we're still trying to be you, right? And not this random ChatGPT based asshole. But yeah, keeping that in mind, let's continue.
So I think people are going to use it, but I actually want to show you something. You came to an interesting point. So I think ChatGPT is evolving all the time, but at some point I got the following response. Let me check. Yeah, it's this one. So I asked GPT to write a short song about something that we talked about, and it said, it is not appropriate for me to create a song or any other form of communication to ask someone out on behalf of someone else, even if the person has agreed to it. Now, so this might be like some problem in this idea, but when I tried to do that again recently, it actually did write a song where it stops like working and like giving you, whatever response you want, is if you do something that's a bit too pushing the edge, right? So something like this, where I said, make the song more sexy. It was like, okay, let's stop here, bro. I'm not helping you that much. I'm sorry, as an AI language model, it's not appropriate for me to write a song with explicit or overly sexual content, blah, 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 blah. So there is a limit to this idea, but I think we can still use some of it.
Right.
So I like your idea of training. I think that could be like something we can use for go-to-market, but I think that most people are not super keen on training themselves. I think they just want the direct approach, right?
I think that generally speaking, people don't like to practice at things. They just like to go ahead and do. No, that's actually not a true statement. People like to practice endlessly as things and not actually doing the work, which is why I think my thing is good. But in this specific case, because it's more emotional rather than kind of tactical, there's a lot of emotions involved and like loneliness and whatever. I think that people just want to get the results, kind of. So I think that would be the best way to go.
Yeah, so you can like sell a direct intent. So
yeah.
My basic idea is an app or a website that helps you in those three things: fixing your bio, initiating a conversation, and fixing a bad conversation that already started. Basically giving you a date, like maximizing your chances of a date. Now I have a lot of ideas, but let's start from the basics. What you want to do is you want to be able to work with all the big apps, right? It's like ads. You're not just selling on one channel. You're not just doing Facebook ads. You want to do Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and all of those. So the same thing with dating. I think you don't want to just be on on Tinder, for example. You also want to be on OkCupid and Bumble and whatever else is there. And so my idea is you need to have some kind of app that knows how to talk to all of these apps.
Right.
And so you don't want to build something that's specific to that. An extension for Tinder Web is like, it will only work for Tinder. Let's do something that works with all of them. And the idea was, let's use OCR. OCR is basically, let's take an image and kind of translate that image into digital text we can actually read. The meaning is optical character recognition, I think. So
it is.
Basically is you take a screenshot or a photo with your phone of a conversation or a profile, you do OCR, you translate that into readable machine text, and then you send that to ChatGPT, to the GPT API actually. So that's the basic idea. And that way you can work with all the apps. And so imagine you have like this app on your phone, and let's say you want to fix your bio. You take a screenshot of your bio, you go to the app, upload that screenshot, it detects all the text, and it's like, I would probably change this and this and that. So that's the first thing. A conversation, you take a screenshot, upload the conversation, it would say, okay, now I would say this thing.
So that's basically what you're saying is a message comes in, the OCR program identifies what the message is, it reads it, then it does some sort of manipulation of the text, inputting it into a model, whatever, and then returning back an answer of what the good stuff should be to respond back to that message, basically.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's the basic idea.
Couple of comments. Keep in mind that you would need to set up this, like, it's mostly not web-based, it's mostly mobile-based, so I'm pretty sure you would have problems working on the web. I'm sure there's a solution for it, but just kind of putting it out there, how would you solve that?
So why do you want to be on the web? That's another question.
I don't want to be on the web. I
think most of the apps are on the mobile, so be on the mobile where the users are.
Gotcha. So you will be reading via OCR in the app itself on mobile, right? So you have like a separate, gotcha. Awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like a separate app on your phone. I want to throw some ideas that I wrote down and stop me if there's something that you're intrigued about or you have a question.
Go, dude.
Because I have a few and I don't want to remember all of them. So what you want to do is you have like the basic version, and then you're upselling kind of like power ups to the application. So the basic one would give you like a basic response that would have, let's say, a 60% chance of working. And then you can upsell like a blurred message that could be funnier, sexier, more mysterious, fine-tuned models that you have for replying to a message or fixing your bio. So that's a part of the app, is like giving you choices and based on like different taste and different personalities that you want to do. Second one is
So wait, just to
You
make sure I understand the first one, it's like a logo generator where they give you style and stuff and you want to generate specific, like make a logo that's for a sporting company that's quirky and fun and cute in the shade of purple or something. So you're basically saying you would have like choices to customize your bio according to them, in essence.
to your bio and your opening message and the conversation, right? So you have like
Gotcha.
the basic,
Gotcha.
the basic idea is it's in free app, but you upsell
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
the free app would give you a basic response that's probably kind of good, but not amazing. And if you want the amazing stuff, you pay
Right.
for that. So
Right.
let's
Right.
say I'm in the conversation, I'm like, I want to take it to a more funny place. It was too serious. I would
Uh-huh.
press, I want a funny one, and there you would be upsell to the premium version.
Right. Right.
We'll
Right.
talk
Right.
about, it's a bit, I'm talking here a bit about go-to-market and pricing, but I think I want to talk about it from the product perspective and kind of give you an idea, general idea of what I'm talking about.
No, because the
The,
actual underlying product, just to clarify, I do want your opinion on the underlying technical product because there are some nuances though. So maybe let's talk about that in a bit. But I think talking about go-to-market here will help explain to people what the fuck we're talking about. So feel free to merge.
Yeah, it's a bit like messy at this point, but we'll figure it out.
All good.
So let's give like a basic product overview of how this works. How did we begin this app? What happens? What's the flow? What's the onboarding? So I download this app. I already have, for example, Bumble and Hinge. Okay,
Right.
I download the app, and now I'm prompted first to choose which app am I using. The free version will only allow one app. That's another thing. You don't want to allow all the apps. You're like, I know you can choose either one. And that's also kind of a way to upsell later. But let's say I choose Bumble, I continue. Now it's like, okay, give me a screenshot of your bio. Let's start with that. You take a screenshot in Bumble, send it to the app. I know that Bumble and Tinder and some of those also have a link to your profile, and you can also maybe use that. But let's say screenshot just so everything is the same. I take a screenshot, upload it to the app. It's on the same phone. And then it says, okay, your bio here is really boring. Change this and that and that. Okay, fix the bio. Check. Now it looks at someone I got a match with. And I would say, okay, let's take a screenshot of her profile, upload it to the app. And then it would be like, oh, I would start a conversation about Bali because she said that she was there and it was super funny. Super fun. Then you have like a starting conversation with her. Then you start chatting, everything's going kind of okay. And then let's say after a day or two, you see that the conversation is not going anywhere. So you screenshot that conversation back into the app, try that again. And then it's like, let's do something crazy. Let's write this funny sentence right now and figure out how it goes. And that's the way you use the app. So screenshot, app, outcome, you take that outcome and paste it in your dating app.
So I kind of like the flow. It is a bit manual, but it's it speaks to the least common denominator of the kind of the activity of a mobile user. So take a screenshot, share, take a screenshot, share, take a screenshot, share. I like the flow.
It's what I would do with you, right? I would take a screenshot, send it to you.
It's exactly the same
right?
flow. Exactly the same flow. Funny that you should mention that on a live podcast. I thought it would be something you want to keep on the down low, but okay, sure. Let's tell everyone I'm your dating coach. So I think that the core premise of this is nice, functionality wise. But let's hear some go-to-market, because keep in mind that while it's nice, it is not a common flow. It's not something that you would do normally in an app.
There is a tiny bit of education, but I think that people that really want to date would do the extra step to do that, especially if the app does allow some kind of value for free. I do want to talk about two last things about product. One is that you can also add dating ideas of where to go to date based on the location. And that is interesting also afterwards for the business model, which we'll talk about. And another one is you want to have some sentiment analysis. So if you're really good at dating, you probably have a lot of different matches and you want to see who's the best potential match. So the app could also act a bit like a CRM, a customer management system.
Relationship management.
Relationship, yeah. And you can see like, this is the most interesting lead. This is the second, this is the third. So you have kind of like a sentiment analysis of what's going on. Who should I talk to? What's the best ROI? So that's the basic idea of the product. Do you want to jump to the go-to-market?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the go-to-market. First of all, this is a mobile app. So you want to do all the basic best practices of a marketplace of an app. Do you want to like maybe say what you would do for the baseline of that?
Sure. promoting an app on like the
Yeah.
app stores. Yeah, so I have to mention that I'm not a mobile guy, so like my niche was never mobile. But I can assume that the majority of the work here will be around optimizing the listing itself on the App Store page, adding nice screenshots, videos, and so forth. This is by now a commodity, so you can get someone to optimize the listing for you. There's also a bunch of services that do it for you, for optimizing your App Store listing. Keep in mind that you are entering what is pretty much a competitive niche. So aside from just optimizing the page and hoping you show up on search, you would need to do other go-to-market activities, which I have ideas for. But I'll let you go ahead first, and then I'll talk.
So I want to kind of talk about competitors and go-to-market together.
Sure.
The two big things I was thinking about was, one, doing growth islands, which is basically a weird term that I'm using, and I guess I didn't hear anyone else using it. But the idea is you create like some kind of tool or mini tool that provides value for free. And that way you get traffic and people using that tool, and they have a very close intent to use your main business, your main product.
We used to call those offshore channels. So offshore channels would be stuff that are not in kind of your mainstream of activity. It's something else, but it leans back into the main marketing website.
I like Growth Island because that way I can charge more when I say a new thing.
You like Growth Islands because you made it up the term Growth Island.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not fooling anyone. Yeah, go ahead.
So the idea is, let's create a few growth channels. One of them could be what you said, right? I will help you become a better conversationalist. I will help you become a better person talking to a girl on text. So that could be one growth channel, totally for free. And the upsell would be a lot of kind of call to actions to the main application. Another one that you can do is that for each app, you create that kind of mini tool that helps you tune your profile bio. So we'd have a Bumble bio tuner, Tinder bio tuner, Hinge bio tuner, and all of those. And when people search on Google, they will get in. They can upload a screenshot, which also brings the education kind of how to use the app. And then they would get kind of a free result. And they would be like, oh, there's this app here. Maybe we should use it to do also the conversation. So that's kind of the growth ideas of the basic mini tools we can use. The big thing I was thinking is, I recently did a product hunt, and somehow it went to the first, the top product of the day. And I was thinking, let's search for kind of like this idea of dating and using ChatGPT. And I found something I want to show you.
As a side note to people listening, sorry for stopping you. Somehow was being Agam DMing a fuck ton of people, making sure they upvote on the day, then doing insane work during the 24 hours to be able to actually do that. He was every hour on the 24 hours of the product was like, Tom, what else can we do? What else can we promote? What can we push this?
Look, I wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for a Notion template that was creeping behind me all the time. I was like, I'm not losing for a Notion template.
That fucker. I remember I was telling a common friend of ours, like, if Agam loses to a fucking Notion template, oh fuck. It's a bad, like, if you're gonna lose to something, losing to a Notion template.
The problem is a lot of people love Notion templates there, so it was a hard fight.
Fuck that dude.
But anyways,
fuck that dude. No.
I want to show you this thing. This is the closest thing I found on Product Hunt with like an interesting amount of upvotes, and it's still not crazy. So this was sent on, I think, February. 13th of February this year, so 2023. And it has only 254 upvotes. Just to give you a perspective, my newsletter got more than 600 upvotes, and I did it myself. So I'm thinking that if you really learn how to do the Product Hunt stuff, and maybe we'll do like a tutorial at some point, you could get a lot of interesting users for your app. So I think there's still a way to crush Product Hunt and to get a lot of leads from there. The second thing
just as a side note, this Phlegm app, which you showed here on Product Hunt, is more for couples. So making sure that couples stay together, less about dating. But I do think that the whole like realm of dating in this sense is an interesting thing to approach. Go ahead.
Yeah. The second competitor I want to show you is this one. So it's Cupido, I think. Their logo isn't working for some reason.
Cupido.
But basically, yeah. It's like it's basically the idea we're talking about, but this is the only big competitor, and I don't know if it's big, but the only real competitor you have for this idea. And so I think there's a lot of space to kind of grab the market. Basically, they do a chat bot that works with like, here's my profile URL and check what I can do to better it. So I think you can do a lot of small stuff to kind of beat them in this game. I wanted to hear actually what you think about it, because I didn't show this to you before.
Yeah, so I was pretty sure there was something around the area even before AI, just somebody who reviews the profiles, because we are in a kind of in an era where online dating is pretty much the way, you know, people our generation date. We're 30-ish. Agam's a bit younger than I am, but that's how people our age date. So I assume somebody was optimizing it somewhere. I know there are women. I have one of them on my Instagram offering training dates. So it's basically you go out with her on a date, she trains you, and then you come back and make like do a good date. So that's a good industry to be in. I'm never afraid of existing competitors. To the contrary, I'm always happy, because it means that somebody did the product work for you, and then you can think about what needs to be better / still what they have and do it in a better way. And also from a go-to-market side, keep in mind that you have information about their budget spent with ads a lot of the time. So you can know what they're spending on. You can look at their SEO.
Where
You
do
have
you
a lot of
search for that? Just so you help out people figure that out.
what do I search? How do I look at the ad
Yeah.
spend of other people? So there's a bunch of tools, but I would not even kind of double down on the ad spend specifically. Like I would start with SEO. So I would look at Moz or SEMrush or Ahrefs and look at the SEO profile for these tools to see what they rank for. And then in addition, I would go and try and look at which what would be the PPC price for each keywords they're ranking for. Again, Ahrefs, SEMrush, and the like showed these numbers. And then I would try and figure out how to, first of all, whether that's a good choice. Maybe their choice was wrong. And then try and figure out how I can kind of at least be shown with the same brand name as them. One way of doing it is actually creating ads on top of the brand name. So I would target Cupido and basically be on that. It's probably not trademarked yet. It's a smaller thing. Once it's trademarked, it's going to be a problem, but up until then, no problem.
And then you can do like a comparison, right? You can do those basic comparisons of like, what's a better product?
I can
this
do
versus
better
that.
than Cupido. Try an app better than Cupido on Google Ads. But this is not the go-to market I would go for. Like the most obvious one, porn. Advertise on porn sites. Like this is where I would put this the most. This is where guys go to jerk off.
Radical ideas, people. We got radical ideas.
I'm just saying. Follow the again the least common denominator. The person gets, you know, is sucks on Tinder, sucks on Bumble or whatever. What does he open next? Pornhub. So I'm saying what you can do in essence is create a campaign of something similar to that. And I'd have to check PPC for porn sites. I'm not exactly sure. It will be banner ads mostly or video ads. I'm not sure what the pricing on that would be, but it's something you can definitely choose. Both Pornhub, X Videos, X and XX have great advertising programs. So you would go there and you would basically put this thing there saying, I don't know, something like, tired of failing at Hinge, failing at OkCupid, failing at Tinder. Identify the specific characteristic of like the country, or I need to think a little bit more about how I would double tap on the targeting, but country would probably be enough just to start with. Say, you know, targeting men, obviously, which are the major consumers of porn anyhow. So do that. Have a campaign that talks about using AI to better your dating profile or just get more dates in your area or something like that. And then throw back to the dating app. I believe you will see a lot of free conversions that way. And I think that upselling from there, if we're going on to actually making money out of the app, which I think is the last thing we should talk about, Agam. I would actually, the way I would do this is I would do it on an action-based model. So for the first 10 conversations, I would give it for free. And then when the person goes to the date, crashes and burns and comes back into the messaging generator or whatever, I would offer two things. First of all, again, more time or more actions on the app would be one thing. But in addition, I would try and offer training dates with virtual
Yeah,
dating
that's where your first
coaches.
idea kind of comes in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I would put in a virtual coach to actually coach you through the date.
Yeah, of course. Another idea you gave me right now is maybe use influencers also to spread this idea. The moment you get a bit of money, so you put some of that money back into the marketing spend. And I would use influencers saying, then you can take influencers that don't, it could be a bit controversial, but you don't take influencers that look the best. So you want people to feel like they have a chance. And they say like, whoa, I got this date. Look at the matches that I got, blah, blah, blah. It's all because of
Snowflakes,
this app.
please turn away. Please turn away from this cast now. All snowflakes. Agam has driven off the pissy fucking cliff, and now he's doing
No, it's
something
just,
completely
I'm
different.
not saying how I've, like, it's not my opinion. I'm just saying what might work. So,
Hey,
yeah. So basically that could be another one. Let's talk about pricing. Let's talk about business. Okay.
oh, super simple, super simple. I have a very simple idea here. So take the
Let me start.
pricing
Let
for
me start.
Bumble Gold. Oh, you want to start? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You have a cool idea, but basically I'm thinking, I think we're talking about the same thing. Let's have a baseline. Free
Yes.
app, right? You get a lot of
Yes.
value for free, but
Yes.
it's not
Yes.
the best value yet. And if you want to
Yes.
crush that date, you feel like you're very close to get that date, you need to pay a bit extra, right? If you want that extra sentence, that a bit better bio that would convert a bit better, that's where
Right.
you're going to pay. And this whole idea of this product is upselling. This is the business model. Upselling a lot of things, yet still giving value so people use it. And there's word of mouth and people using it.
Right. Are
So
you done?
give me your
Can I say
pricing
no?
idea. I
Can I
have
say
a
no?
lot of upsell ideas if you want. Talk about the
Yeah. So
pricing.
to me personally, it feels like Bumble Gold or whatever the name is, a premium tier of a dating app. But what you're essentially buying is, again, this action or this extra time on the app. So I would price it, I think the lifetime version of Bumble Gold would be like $150 or something like that for lifetime access. So I would give, it's a good sell. I would sell a lifetime access package for $150, but also have like minor packages. So another week for another $5, another month for another $15, or so forth and so forth. This would be the ranges. It doesn't have to be per week. It can also be per message, which is also fine. I like the per message or like the per stream, the per...
because it's like a direct intent.
Exactly. So like a per profile approach, like for your next 20, buy extra 20 AI recommendations for chats.
That's super cool. I like two of the ideas because first, if I really want this person, I'm going to pay for this person specifically.
Yes.
And the lifetime value is also good because when you have a lifetime value for a product like this in dating, you're going to get a lot more revenue because people might actually succeed, right? And then they won't need the app. So they already paid the lifetime value. So yeah, I like it.
Agree.
Good idea.
So one last thing about upsell. I think that the dating coach stuff, sorry for coming back to that, but the dating coach stuff can actually be split up into two different products. So the first one would be the actual virtual coach, which is an AI type thing, which kind of, teaches you how to do stuff. But also you can sell Zoom sessions with women in this case, who will actually do a simulation date with you, which is kind of tapping back on the girl from Instagram that we talked about before. I think it's a great way to actually see where you suck on a physical date, which will increase kind of your actual success rates with actual women.
Do you know if there's like a role or a job type for, like, is it called a dating coach? That's what you search on Fiverr or something like that?
I assume, but I think the dating coach mostly, so I'd assume that dating coach for men and dating coach for women is a completely different profession. I think that for men specifically, it would be around the conversational aspects of succeeding on a date, and which is what relates to Hill. And I think it would pretty much be, come on, have half an hour conversation with a woman. Don't be a fucking incel, be an actual human being, like be a man. Sorry for throwing in toxic masculinity, but don't be a dumbass. And I think this, by the way, speaking of which, excellent idea for a business. Virtual coaches for dating. Simulation dating.
We're going to talk about it in a different
I'm digressing.
Let me just finish with a few upsells and let's get it over with.
Definitely.
So, and at the end, I want to talk about the valuation of this thing because I have an idea. So upsell number one, you want to also help people with photos. Photos are one of the biggest things in dating. What you can do today with something like the mid-journey technology is take a photo of someone and touch it up. Make sure the lighting is good. Make sure they don't have weird blurry places in the photo, right? I wouldn't completely change the person because then you're going to be a catfish app, and there are enough of those. But doing those basic stuff like lighting and blurriness and stuff like that, you can also easily upsell. That's one thing. Second is you want to do the experiences, right? The moment the person got a date, there are a lot of affiliate programs with experience-based companies. So you can use just a few that I found. You can use CityPass, you can use StubHub, you can use headout.com, vividseats.com. They all have affiliate programs. They don't really write the exact amounts and everything, but I'm sure that you can find like really cool ideas based on a location. So for example, if you're in New York, you access their API, get an affiliate deal for cool things to do in New York that are relatively interesting for a date. When the person uses that affiliate, you got that. That's not even it's not really an upsell, but it's another money generator idea. And the last one is you can also go long-term with this idea. So you can add another app or maybe a more kind of like serious aspect of the app, and that's a relationship guru, right? The moment you got into a relationship, like after 1, 2, 3 dates, it can help you figure out how to fix your fights or how to surprise them. When is their birthday, right? You don't want to forget that. Valentine's, all those things you can also add into the app. Maybe that's a different business idea, but I thought about just touching a bit about it right here. So you can actually, I think, in my opinion, not just do the dating app and do something that really helps the world and fixes relationships in general, because nobody really knows how to do that well. Let's see if I'm missing one app upsell here. Yeah, just the thing I talked about in the beginning, where you have like the blurry premium responses and premium bios, and you can buy them in the app and figure them out. That's my kind of upsell ideas, unless you have more ideas.
One extra thing that kind of came up to me when we talked about earlier about the whole the difference between my idea and your idea. So like the ChatGPT dating code versus optimizer, profile optimizer, messaging optimizer type thing. Another avenue which we can take this in is who you should choose to swipe right or swipe left. So basically, if you look at a profile,
crazy eyes detector, I like it.
No, because we are not assholes, Agam. We are people with ethics. What I'm saying is, sometimes, I don't know if OkCupid still has it. I haven't been on the app for a while, but it used to have like a percentage of a match. It will tell you how much you match with a certain person. So I always liked the feature. It was actually pretty good. If you answer all of the questionnaires they have there for the quizzes, it would be pretty good. I was thinking if you can share a profile to the application and ask it what you think would be my success rates with a person like this, given my history when I'm using the app, that would be an excellent upsell. It would be kind of like a percentage calculator for your success, given what the app knows how to do and your previous success rates. I think
and
that
it
would
works
be cool.
well with the CRM kind of idea.
Exactly. It works well with the CRM. Exactly.
Interesting. Okay, valuation. What do you think this business could be worth? And I have an idea that's a bit concrete, so I want to hear it first from you.
Oof, good question. So since we're selling, this could be worth a lot of money. Since we're selling basically subscriptions in a way, I think that I want it to at least be in the valuation-wise. Let's talk about ARR. So I'm thinking ARR-wise, annual recurring revenue, you can definitely reach hundreds of thousands of dollars with something like that. And I think that the core thing that would be like the valuation would be derived from the ARR. And I think that if you can get it to, let's say, $1 million ARR a year, it could definitely sell for a few millions just on the basic tier of it, without all the different upsells, just like one upsell direction. But that would be what I'm thinking about. What do you think?
Okay, so do you know this app called Photo Feeler?
No.
This website, actually.
No.
So this is a website, let me show you, that you upload your photo and it kind of sends it to all the community, and everyone there rates your photo. And it might be for LinkedIn, it might be for dating, whatever you're looking for. And the idea is that, like, the smart idea is if you want to get your results, you need to upvote a lot more photos unless you're paying.
Nice.
So they get a lot of people participating, and they have like this smart algorithm that checks for fraud and stuff. But basically, this idea, how much you think this is worth, and then I'll tell you.
It's probably making a few 10K a month if it's working well. So I
Okay.
assume there's a million valuation though.
This is the revenue in 2021.
Fuck me, they
They
make 8
zoom
million
in.
a
Yeah.
holy
Now they
shit.
have 26 employees and they started in 2013, but this is
But
interesting. This
still,
is really interesting. This means that this idea, I think, might be worth more than that. And this is just the ARR for 2021, right?
I will say, I'm not sure where you got that information from, the revenue, but a lot of those sites are off by a certain margin. But if it's even in the range, if they're making 4
Yeah.
instead of 8, that would be insane.
So I'm
Um,
thinking this might be even more than what we thought. This is
yeah,
a
it'd be
gold
a
mine, I
bigger
think.
business. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I like the idea.
it's somewhere there. Everyone that wants to leave now, I want to show just 2 funny things for the end. You don't have to stay for this, but basically, interesting things you need to know. One is I would totally check OkCupid's blog. I don't know if you know about this. It's a bit bold at this point, but they have so much statistics. They have crazy data science people. I would totally check their blog. So you go to the blog.okcupid.com. I think they're hosting it on Medium, and they have very cool statistics that you can either repurpose, reuse, or do something with that in your app. So that's one thing I would check. And for people of your age and caliber, Tom, I found an app that's better than our app. And this is this Amazon dating app, which is amazing. You just choose someone, and you even get a free 1-hour delivery if you're a Prime member, and it's
Holy
just
shit.
amazing.
Holy shit. That sounds like a bride to order type thing. I'm not sure human trafficking is something I'm comfortable in dealing with. It's a
Teddy
bit
is
out of my
unavailable, man.
scope. Out of scope. Very funny. Very funny. I love this. I don't know who built this, but this is amazing.
Yeah.
Because we are a bit over time, Agam, one last comment, if you don't mind, from my end. I think that this could be a very, very interesting business for a company that already is in the OCR space for a different reason. So like if you're already doing OCR for whatever reason, you will have kind of the baseline there. Sorry?
The go-to-market for your OCR business too.
Exactly. It could be, there's parallels there that could work very well.
Nice.
And in addition, for people who are afraid of the OCR part, because we haven't really talked about it, OCR is now a commodity. It's not a difficult thing to access. It's very cheap, sometimes even free. And we can also, if somebody wants to double down on that in a future episode, we can definitely come back to that.
Yeah, basically what I would look for as a developer is the basic cloud offerings in terms of OCR. Just use that term, you'll figure it out. There's enough stuff out there. It really is a commodity. Okay, let's wrap it up.
Indeed. Agam, thank you so much for coming up with this idea. Your ideas oftentimes suck. This one was very good. I'm very happy we did it. And I enjoyed this episode tremendously and enjoy Thailand.
Thank you. See you later.